Hello, I'm the Hard Times guy. Right now I'm making a few short edits for a video that I made. It's too daggone long. It's over an hour long, and usually when I edit a video it gets shorter. This one's going to get probably longer. I know I've only got one viewer probably that'd sit down and watch the thing from start to finish. And Shannon just doesn't have time to do that herself. She'd probably have to break it up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break it up. It's going to be 4 or 5 videos probably before I get done. Well, I'm going to say this at the outset of this video, and I'm going to say it to members of my family, especially the children. You're living in a world where being a victim is something you hear a lot about. In fact, most people go around thinking that they're victims of something. Somebody doesn't like them. Somebody did something against them long before they were born that's affecting them now. Just all manner of things relating to social justice and social communications, which indicate that you're probably a victim of something, and it's not your fault. I want to start this by saying the single most important thing in your life that determines whether you succeed or whether you fail at anything and everything you choose to do are the choices that you make and the discipline that you have to follow through with good choices. All that other stuff is just that stuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what someone else says about you. It doesn't matter about what someone else thinks about you. What matters is that you get the best information you can. You pursue the truth about anything and everything that you do. And once you have that information, you take that information and make a good choice with it. And then you have what it takes, the discipline, the fortitude, the courage to stay with your choice and pursue life based on that choice or those choices. I wish I could think of a more powerful and succinct way to say what I just said, but I mean, it is what it is. And if you don't get anything else from what I say, I hope you get that. You are the person most in control of the things in your life that matter. And the choices you make and the discipline you have to make good choices and act on good choices has more to do with what's going to happen to you, what kind of life you're going to have, what kind of success you're going to have, what kind of happiness you're going to have in life than any other thing. March the 20th, 1947, I was born. Last Wednesday I was 77 years old. Let me tell you something. I'm an old man. Took me a while to get here. Probably as late as when I was 72 years old, I didn't really think I was an old man. I didn't feel nearly as old as I do now. I didn't have near as many problems with things I took for granted, I guess, as I do now. And I knew I wasn't as young as I once was, and I knew I couldn't do some of the things that I used to do, but I still hadn't come to grips yet, or wasn't willing to admit yet, that I was old. My dad told me once that none of the men in our family, none of the Mooneyham men, lived past 72 years. And so for a long time I expected that probably I wouldn't live past 72 years. And indeed my dad, he died when he was 72. But I began to find out some things. One of the things I found out was he didn't know what he's talking about. I was in Cane Island Cemetery down in Craighead County, Arkansas. I think that's in Craighead County. It's pretty close to Lake City. I was there and I saw my grandfather's grave and my grandmother's grave, and one of the things that I noticed about my grandfather's grave was he was older than 72 when he died. I think he was 76. And since then I've come to realize that maybe some of the other Mooneyham men lived longer than 72 as well. Not sure of that, but I think that's true. At any rate, I'm 77, and so I've lived to be older than 72, and I plan on living a few more years, I think. We don't know. I mean, I could die in my sleep tonight. I don't know that. But what I want to say is it changes the way you think about things once you realize that, yes, I am old. Yes, I am at a place where I don't feel immortal like I once did. I don't feel like I'm going to live for a long time yet. And you think about things differently. So I've been thinking about that this week, or actually longer than this week. For quite a while I've been thinking about making a video kind of like this video. And then last week I ran across something in a book, and I began thinking about that, and I realized that the writer of the book that I was reading, and it was a book called 2 Timothy. In fact, I think they call books like that epistles, because they're letters that were written. It was a form of writing called an epistle. It's a letter written by someone to someone with a message. And I was reading this epistle, 2 Timothy. It's written by a man named Paul. He was an apostle, and he wrote several epistles. More than half of the New Testament in the Bible comprised by Paul writing letters to people, giving them advice. And as I read this, I thought, wow, Paul should have had a YouTube channel. He should have had a YouTube channel, because what he's doing right here in what I'm reading is the same thing that I sometimes do, especially when my grandchildren have me a little upset about something they're doing, or my children, or somebody in my family. Paul's doing the same thing I do. He's trying to leave information for people that they need to be able to do the things in life that they need to do, that they should do, that's going to be instrumental in their being fulfilled and happy. That's what Paul's doing in this epistle. I'm going to stop just a minute. Some of you might recognize this. It's a Bible. I called it a book a minute ago. It is a book, and it's comprised of other books. It's got several books in it, and the epistle 2 Peter is what I would call a book within a book. But this is a Bible, and down here on the bottom of it, it says, now I don't even know who this person is. It says Gwen Turner. Gwen Turner. And this Bible is it's like new. It's starting to come apart in some places, but it's like a new Bible, except for where some of the glues come loose on it. Wasn't used very much. by Gwen. Probably like me, Gwen probably had several Bibles in her lifetime. But this is one, it's a nice one. The other book that I've got here is, it's a book called The Theft of America's Soul. It's by a man named Phil Robertson. Some of you know who Phil Robertson is. If you're watching my channel, you probably do know who Phil Robertson is. He's a patriarch of the Robertson family. One of the main guys in a TV show called Duck Dynasty, I think the name's that show. He founded a company. He made duck decoys, and he's done other things, but okay, I stopped the video right there. Here's why. I just said in the first cut of that video that Phil Robertson made duck decoys, and I didn't know I said that. I didn't know it till I sat down and loaded that video on my computer and began to look at it for the purpose of editing the video. And I found that. When I said it, didn't know I said it. I thought I said what I meant to say. What I meant to say was duck calls. Duck Calls. C-A-L-L-S. He started a business manufacturing duck calls. That's not really a big deal. I didn't need to stop a video for that, except for what this video's about. This video's about truth, how hard it is to find, and how people nowadays take and screw with it. If I were a candidate running for president and I said Phil Robertson made duck decoys, here's what would happen to that. Half the news media would have showed me saying Phil Robertson made duck decoys. That's a lie. Phil Robertson didn't make duck decoys, he made duck calls. And the other half of the news media would have said, he just said Phil Robertson made duck decoys, and Phil Robertson started a business making duck calls. This old man, I mean, he doesn't know the difference between a duck decoy and a duck call, and he's running for president. See how that is? And see what they do, and depending on who you are and what you are, or which side of the, what they want to say, that's what happens. That's what happens on news media all the time. So I did it, and I started out this video by telling you I'm old, getting old, and doing, you know, my belief is both candidates we're going to have for president in the 2024 presidential election, both of them too old. Both of them, I think, are a little bit older than me. One of them's a few years older than me, and one is a few months older than me. I don't want to be president. I don't get up in the morning feeling like being president. And saying Phil Robertson made duck decoys doesn't disqualify me, even though I meant to say duck calls. Phil Robertson probably did make duck decoys. He was an outdoorsman. Heck, I've made duck decoys. All right, let's get back to the video. TV show they got called Duck Dynasty. Bunch of Louisiana outdoorsmen talking about various things. And Phil Robertson wrote a book. He wrote another book before this one, I think. I don't know. I think maybe the name of that other book, I should look it up. I will look it up. before I edit this video, and I'll tell you what the title of it is. But I'm going to guess right now the title of it's Happy, Happy, Happy. Happy, Happy, Happy. That was correct. Phil Robertson wrote a book. Title of it was Happy, Happy, Happy. And when I saw this book, I thought this was a more recent book. So I set it aside and I thought maybe I'll read it someday. And after I set it aside, then I did one evening pick it up, start reading it, and I read the whole thing before I laid it back down again. So I'm going to talk about these two books. I bought these books at auction. Does that surprise you? Actually, I didn't buy these books at auction. I bought a box at auction that was full of books. Or I bought a box at auction that it was full of something. It had various things in it. Among those things were books. Maybe a book, maybe more than one book. And when I got home and went through my box, took out whatever it was that I bought, then I go through that box and I determine what's in that box that I'll keep and what's in that box that I'll just discard, throw it away. That usually happens right at the tailgate of my truck. I set a big old wastebasket down there and I go through them boxes and I think, well, I'll keep this and that's nothing, and I'll throw stuff away. That's where these two books came from. This practically new Bible, I didn't buy it because it was in the box. I bought the box for some other reason, but this Bible was in there and I didn't throw it away. It's out here in this room. There's probably, I don't know, I didn't go around and look. I just went and looked till I found a Bible because I wanted a Bible to make this video and I hadn't brought mine from the house up here. I got Bibles everywhere because this happens. Bibles that I've purchased over the years and used, and then other Bibles that just happen, like this one. Got one at church. I go to church, I don't carry my Bible back and forth to church. I just leave a Bible there in the pew for anybody to use. It's there where I sit on Sunday, so that's when I use it. And the reason I did that is because of these. I don't wear these all the time, don't take them with me all the time. In fact, this pair right here, it's in this room. I don't take it out of this room because I need them sometimes in here. So I just leave some reading glasses in this room. That's what I do. There's reading glasses in my truck. There's reading glasses in my house in case I need a pair. And I could have left reading glasses at church, but they might have accidentally walked off or got lost. So I just left that Bible there. And the reason I left it there is it's large print. I don't have to have reading glasses. Sometimes I'd get to church and forget my reading glasses, and then I'd have trouble reading my Bible when we were in church, reading along with the pastor. So I left the Bible there. It's got large print in it. I can read it without reading glasses, and it's there. The Hard Times Chronicles. That's the name of my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to it, subscribe to it. When I aggravate you, then you can unsubscribe. Doesn't cost you a thing. Subscribe to the channel, Hard Times Chronicles.